Welcome to This Explainer. Let's dive right into what is arguably one of the biggest legislative transitions in Indian tax history. If you've logged into the official Income Tax Department portal recently, you've probably noticed things look, well, a little different. We are currently right in the middle of a massive overhaul, and the digital infrastructure is basically shifting in real time. So my goal today is to take you on a guided tour of this newly overhauled portal. We're going to walk through the most critical updates, the new tools you'll be using, and the major compliance shifts recently published by the Central Board of Direct Taxes. To make sure we grasp all these complex updates efficiently, here is our roadmap for today. 1. Welcome to Act 2025. 2. Critical July 2026 deadlines. 3. The bill comparison tool. And 4. Navigating new tax resources.
Section 1. Welcome to Act 2025.
Let's start with the big picture, the foundational shift that is completely redefining taxation in India right now. After more than 60 decades, 60 plus years, the legacy 1961 framework has officially been retired. As of April 1st, 2026, it's been replaced by the streamlined 2025 Act. And you can see this macro change instantly on the portal. If you look at the updated navigation menus, the separation is literally built into the architecture. Under the Tax Laws and Rules section, the department has explicitly divided the documentation. You now have distinct repositories, one for the new Income Tax Act 2025, right alongside the old Income Tax Act 1961. This isn't just a fresh coat of paint or a rebranding. It's a complete legislative reset. The portal had to bifurcate its entire legal library so that taxpayers and professionals can reference both the legacy framework for past assessments and the new 2025 Act for everything current and future.
Now, naturally, with a brand new legislative act comes an entirely new rulebook. The portal makes it very clear that you'll now be referencing the income tax rules of 2026, stepping away from the historical 1962 rules. Why does this actually matter to you? Well, because while the act provides the overarching law, the rules give you the procedural steps, the exact forms, and the calculations you need to follow day to day. Every single procedural form is currently being updated to match the 2026 rulebook. In fact, the portal now features a dedicated section for Income Tax Forms 2026, which is absolutely crucial to make sure you don't accidentally file a legacy form for a current transaction.
Section 2. Critical July 2026 deadlines. So, how does this legislative shift impact your immediate compliance calendar? Let's take a look at the short-term obligations. The absolute most crucial takeaway here is that July 14th, 2026 is a massive bottleneck deadline under the new rules. The portal's upcoming due date section is basically glowing red with 5 distinct major filings all stacked up on this exact same day. Let's break them down super quickly. First up, Form 137. This is required for government offices that paid TDS or TCS for the month of June 2026 without a challan. Then you've got Form 132, which is for the issue of TDS certificates for taxes deducted back in May 2026. But wait, there's more. Authorized dealers handling remittances have to furnish their quarterly statements using the new Form 147. Similarly, units operating out of an International Financial Services Center, or IFSC, need to submit their quarterly remittance statements on Form 148. And finally, stock exchanges are required to submit Form 1 for transactions where client codes were modified. Every single one of these forms references the new Income Tax Rules 2026 or sections from the 2025 Act. So if your compliance team isn't already prepping for this July 14th traffic jam, it is definitely time to sound the alarm.
Section 3. The bill comparison tool. If trying to balance the old rules with the new forms is starting to feel a bit overwhelming, don't worry. The portal offers a really incredible digital solution, the new IT bill comparison tool. What's fantastic about this utility is just how incredibly simple it is to use. The tax department completely understands that professionals are going to spend the next few years constantly mapping old 1961 sections to new 2025 sections. So, to save you from having to do this manually by flipping through 2 giant physical books, they built this interactive tool directly into the site. You simply pick the specific sections you want to look at from the 1961 Act and the 2025 Act. You can upload files or just select them straight from the digital catalog. Once you hit compare, boom, you instantly get a side-by-side or merged view showing you exactly what changed. It highlights the additions, the deletions, and those really subtle wording tweaks that could totally alter a tax position. And it gets better. Once you run your comparison, you aren't forced to keep your browser tab open just to save your work. You can instantly export your results into a PDF or HTML document. This is an absolute game changer for tax practitioners and corporate finance teams who need to save these analyses for internal records, client presentations, or audit trails. Now, just a quick aside based on a disclaimer on the portal. These comparisons are meant for reference purposes, so you should always double-check the final wording with official Gazette sources just to be totally safe.
Section 4. Navigating new tax resources. For our final stop, let's rapidly run through some of the most critical compliance updates currently featured on the portal. You will absolutely want to familiarize yourself with these, as they clearly signal the department's top priorities right now. First off, there is a very important update regarding the new UIN format to be quoted in Form 121. Under the old 1961 Act, you probably knew this as Form 15G or 15H, the forms used to declare certain incomes without tax deduction. Well, under the 2025 Act, it's now Form 121, and getting this new UIN format right is going to be essential for banks and individual taxpayers. Next, the portal is highlighting the CBDT's Second Nudge Initiative. This is a public awareness campaign aggressively targeting the disclosure of foreign assets. The department is basically trying to prompt taxpayers to come clean voluntarily on their overseas holdings. We're also seeing enforcement updates, specifically a nationwide verification exercise targeting restaurants suspected of suppressing their turnover. And on the global front, the portal just published the newly signed amending protocol that updates the double taxation avoidance convention between India and France. So, as you can see, the portal is acting as a live feed for both domestic and international tax shifts.
Now here is a really fascinating piece of data straight from the portal's updates, 219. That represents the exact number of advanced pricing agreements, or APAs, that the CBDT signed in the 2025 to 2026 fiscal year alone. For multinational corporations, this metric is huge. Advanced pricing agreements are designed to give companies certainty in transfer pricing and avoid those exhausting, drawn-out legal battles over cross-border transactions. Hitting 219 agreements in a single year shows a massive, deliberate push by the department to create a more predictable and business-friendly tax environment, even while they're rolling out a completely new tax code.
Before we officially wrap up this explainer, I really need to highlight this massive security warning directly from the department. You'll actually see this persistently displayed at the bottom of the portal. With a transition as huge as moving to the 2025 Act, there is going to be confusion. And unfortunately, scammers love confusion. They use it for phishing attacks, sending emails claiming you need to update your details for the new system. The department is making it crystal clear here. They will never ask for your PIN numbers, passwords, or credit card info via email. So please stay vigilant, verify everything through the official portal, and don't let the anxiety of learning new compliance rules trick you into compromising your personal data. The new digital tools are all mapped out and waiting for you on the updated portal. We've explored the clear division of the new laws, those urgent July deadlines you can't miss, and the incredibly helpful comparison utilities built to make your life easier. So I have to leave you with this final thought. Is your compliance strategy actively adapting to the new 2025 framework, or are you letting your knowledge fall behind in 1961? Take a few minutes today to log on to the portal, click around the new 2026 rulebooks, and try out the bill comparison tool for yourself. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and happy navigating.